And for good reason. Why are people stabbing you? Why are people punching you in the dick? And why is Kevin saying...
Yeah, if you've ever been stabbed before, it's definitely your fault.
My name's Mohnish, and I'm your main host. Welcome to Real Talk. Welcome to Season 2. Okay, so imagine this. You're in a room full of people. You look around, everyone's smiling, talking, everyone's having a better time than you. And then you see Jessica. She's so confident. She's so gregarious and outgoing. How does she just walk up to people and words fall out of her mouth in the perfect combination that triggers? You get the point. In the end, you want to be like her. You want to be confident. So how the does she do it? The truth is everyone wants to be confident, but no one knows how to do it. Tomas Chamorro Music, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He's one of the few researchers who is A, an actual researcher, and B, knows what he's talking about. And we bake his findings into this podcast. If fake it till you make it failed you and telling yourself in the mirror that your mother actually really did love you didn't work out, you'll like this episode. Here's episode 17, season 2. Were you going to start this off strong? How was your childhood? No, what?
Okay, headspace. Thank
you. Yeah. Were you confident as a kid?
No, not at all. I don't think I would be able to say that I was a confident person until very recently, the past couple of years. As a kid, I was like the most, not that shyness means you're unconfident, but I was completely shy and introverted and concerned with what everybody else thought of me. And typically I came off as a very unconfident person. I could barely make eye contact with other people because I was so afraid.
You fucking freak. Jesus Christ.
I sucked.
No, dude, I sympathize with that. I for the longest time, so when I was maybe, I want to say 6th grade, I was kind of on the chubby side because my mom would buy these Mexican dinners because she was at work, right?
I'd bully you.
Yeah. So I remember just not being confident since then, and there's been definitely parts of my life where I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't make eye contact with them. I felt like the skinny Indian kid that I was, especially so in high school. I was in cross country, which is if you are trying to gain muscle, probably and be confident in your body. It's insane. There's definitely been parts of my life that I've been confident in, and then parts of my life that I wasn't confident. But I actually never knew why I was. It just kind of came to me sometimes, and it kind of ephemeral in a weird way. Like it wasn't like I wasn't confident for a period of my life, and then suddenly a couple days later I was confident and it was all good. It was like in some situations I would be confident, in some places I would be confident, sometimes I was confident a whole week. It was very ephemeral, and
to me, I cannot imagine you being unconfident in any situation except driving. Because of the amount of times you've told me that you're not a good driver, whether that's for the sake of the anecdote or not, or the analogy that you'll say all the time. I don't know. For some reason, I cannot imagine you driving for shit. I imagine you just being the most like scared, anxious, unconfident driver ever. But in every other realm of life, I can't imagine you not being, hey, I'm Mohnish. How's it going?
Yeah,
super intense.
Dude. When I'm driving, it's crazy because I just start crying when I hit the wheel. I start. I'm expecting tears to come in. No, dude, confidence is weird. I think a lot of people don't know what confidence, not what it is, but how to build it properly. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of misconceptions on what is confidence. And there's so many weird narratives that it's like, it goes from just believe in yourself and you can do whatever you want. And then it goes to, yo, don't give a shit about anybody.
Man,
dude.
Fuck all the haters, man.
Yeah. So like when I was growing up, I always wanted to be the confident dude. hey, I'm Mohnish, how's it going? And I wanted to be that guy. I never knew how to do it, so I tried out so many different tactics. I went on sites, I read books about the topic. And what's crazy is how many people don't know what they're talking about. Right. How many people have so many different opinions on confidence? And what's crazy to me is when people are like, dude, you just gotta not care what people think. As if it was okay. No, what?
Wait a minute. Oh, I suddenly don't give a shit about what anyone thinks of me.
And I think the key, so one of the researchers who's done a lot of cool work on this topic, his name is Tomas. He has a long name. Tomas. Hey, Tomas. And he basically, he's a legit researcher, and he compiled a lot of his research in the book Confidence, right? And what's
that book about?
I don't know, dude. I couldn't tell you. I want to say it's about BDSM, but it could be also about confidence.
Of course, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, dude. And the book is basically, it breaks down confidence, but it basically says the only way to get confidence is to become competent at something. So you can't. There's no looking in the mirror and telling yourself that your mother actually really did love you. There's no emotional positive boosters. There's no saying I love you to myself. There's no fake it till you make it. We can get on that later.
Well, let's. Why don't we break apart like the the different cultural narratives about confidence and about building confidence.
Okay, yeah. So
and the one that comes to mind the most, because you've mentioned it a couple times, is the like don't give a shit about what people think. Which is complete bullshit.
Yeah, so...
Go ahead.
Yeah, dude, if you don't... So the thing... my favorite point about this book is that it says the point you should care what people think, right?
Right.
Who you are, your reputation, it matters a great deal. Now, there's some people who are anxious and neurotic like all the time and just can't function, and they're always worrying about what people think. And that's something there's something to be said for that, right? But worrying about what other people think, worrying about, if I punch Sally in the face, she doesn't like me. You should worry about this kind of reputational...
Man, I don't give a shit about that.
No, because things have reputational damage and reputational costs, right? And thinking about the world in those terms, that might not be good, but being aware of these terms in and of itself is a good thing, right?
Plus, just in general, I mean, we've said it a million times, how... What is the most important thing in life is connecting with other people, right? So of course it matters what other people think about you, because that's literally what you're doing your entire life is connecting with other human beings. So I hate the whole like, man, you just gotta learn to not give a fuck about other people.
Yeah,
like it's such bullshit. Like of course you should want to care what other people think of you.
Yeah, dude. And the crazy part is that when I first started looking into this, I told myself I would walk into a bar and I told myself, hey, just don't care about what other people, and then I would just break down crying. And then you are evolutionarily programmed to care about what other people think, right? Because if you were the guy thousands of years ago that didn't care about what other people thought and you just did whatever you did. You died in the savannah with a spear going through your heart, dude. Yeah. Like they would cast you out of the group. And the reason we care about our social life so much is because thousands of years ago, if you were not supported by the social group, you literally died, right? Like you needed to have the support of the group. You needed to have people around you to get food, to help hunt, to help gather, to help do all sorts of things. And if you didn't have that group, you were out in the wilderness by yourself, and you were likely going to just die off, right? So the people who didn't give a shit, for the most part, they all died thousands of years ago. And so now we're all neurotic pieces of shit who care a lot about what people think. But this is a good thing, right? So one of the crazy things about this research is that low confidence can be a good thing, right? I mean, you can. People have said this in multiple forms, but dissatisfaction is a mother of improvement, right? And if you have low confidence about an area of your life, that probably signals you suck. So at that part of your life, and you should go about improving it, right? You don't have to rationalize in your head, oh no, I'm actually good. Like, you don't have to lie to yourself. You don't have to put these the scaffolding of false positive illusions up to make yourself feel better. No, that's the opposite of what the confidence meter inside of you is doing. It's telling you to actually improve in that area, right?
Yeah. It's funny. That just reminds me of the false positive illusions of. I was playing sand volleyball at my friend's apartment complex.
Yeah,
and you weren't there at this time actually. But there's this guy, and it's sand volleyball. Everybody blows at volleyball. Like, average people are not great at volleyball. It's just a fun thing, you know. So we played with a bunch of people that were there at the pool. It's kind of like a little social apartment complex. And there's this one guy. God, he was such a fucking cocksucker about playing. Like, the first thing he says when he gets on my team, this is when I knew I was going to have a bad game, is when he comes in and he goes, all right, guys, I don't like to lose, so let's try not to do that. Like, literally,
as if everyone actively
have you had
wanted to
any
lose.
schooling in talking to other human beings whatsoever, because saying that as your first thing when you meet a group of people playing casual volleyball means that they all want to slit your throat and drink your blood.
Right.
Idiot. So
I imagine like he was like, guys, we can't lose, so let's try and do that. And you're like, oh, dude, we were totally gonna try to lose. So,
shit.
Thanks for letting us know.
Well, that really messes up my strategy because I lose every time.
Yeah.
But the entire game, first of all, he was just a shit volleyball player, but he thought he was really good, so he was constantly running in front of everybody else and blocking and stealing, like, just completely hogging the entire show.
Yeah.
And causing us to actually do worse because he sucked. And then he kept complaining that it was us. Like, he looked at me once. I guess I was the one person he may have thought was competent because he confided in me his negative feelings about everybody else.
Hey,
like, dude, first of all, these are all my friends, you fucking idiot. He came up to me and he's like, hey, I'm just going to run. I'm going to be playing like right here because nobody in this fucking team knows how to pass. I'm like, wow, you suck. But this is just a tale of confidence gone wrong.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the false positive illusions have led to this incredible sense of arrogance, and clearly his self-concept. He thinks he's incredible at this sport, but he fucking blows. And I feel as if that's being unconfident in an area, and then telling yourself that you're actually really good and having it fail.
People don't even like those kinds of people. Like, people like think when I was growing up,
very unenjoyable.
When I was growing up, I thought, man, everyone loves the super confident dude that just punches people in the crotch and just goes down the hallway, and they're so confident, and they're giving, they're,
oh my God, look, it's Billy. He's going to punch me in the dick.
I can't wait. No, and the thing is, the researchers, I mean, it's people don't even like that dude, right? If only one thing, they're scared of that dude, so they feel like they need to succumb to him, and basically they don't want to have a problem with him, so they kind of like, in the same way that if you see a guy with a gun, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to try to piss him off because, I don't want him to shoot me in the face. The same way for this guy, you don't want social reputational damage of him making fun of you, so but it seems like everyone likes you. No, everyone's afraid of you, dude. Or everyone wants to run away from you. People, for the most part, people don't like the super confident, arrogant dude. What they like is a super competent dude, right? Who's actually really good at talking to people, who actually makes people feel good about themselves when he talks to people, and who's modest and, probably has a splash of insecurity. One of the things I love about one of our guests, Cam Potter, is that first of all, he's amazing at talking. He's very verbally skilled, and he's a stand-up comedian, right? He has to be. And also, while he can be very insecure sometimes, he voices with some kind of honesty his own insecurities, his own relationship problems, and that makes me want to spend time with him more than Mr. Raging Dickhead over there in the corner.
He comes off as a very human, relatable person.
Yeah.
Because he's honest about his insecurities. But he talks in a confident manner.
Yeah, and it's not like he can't talk. He's super competent with, his social dynamics. Like, he can, like, when we're talking, he just goes back and forth. There's no, he's not like, right? So yeah, dude, I remember wanting, we can say that's myth number 2, right? You don't need to be the super confident dude who's a raging dickhead, right? That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is first just be super competent in the areas of your life that matter to you, right? So when people, so you referenced this to me earlier, but when people talk about confidence, usually they're talking about just social dynamics, right? So, she's a confident woman. They're not talking about how good she is, drawing or shit like that. They're not talking about how good she is at her laundry. Like, man, the way she does her laundry, so confident. No. They're talking about how she seems in social situations, right? Mm-hmm. And when people talk about confidence, that's a specific domain, right? There's words coming out of your mouth, right? You are getting literal verbal feedback from other people. These are actual skills that you can actually improve, right? And whether that means gaining more competence by picking up a book on social dynamics, picking up a book on how to make a good first impression, and actually looking at this stuff and improving in your life by doing it, right? These are actually ways that you can improve your actual skill set so that the confidence follows.
Yeah. Although you're totally right. When people think of confidence, I think automatically what comes to mind is just social confidence and I guess your ability to engage in social situations. And that's what I had always thought my entire life. And probably because that's what I struggled with most too. So that's where I felt as if I had the least confidence was in my social ability. But I will say that I think becoming competent in speaking to other people and socializing and overcoming social anxieties that may cause you to come off as being socially unconfident, I think is probably one of the more important types of confidence that you can invest time and effort into increasing. Because knowing how to get along with other people and socialize is such a huge utility in like an infinite amount of situations that I think becoming confident in that domain can lead to later confidence building in other domains. And in general, it's not the key to becoming a confident person, but I think it's like a really good start is to...
Yeah. Dude, I mean, we're human beings. We're literally social. I mean, we are a hyper social species, right? We are built to connect with people. We are built to make work for other people. I mean, even the work we do, this podcast, whether you are in investing or you are in counting, you are actually doing work for other people. If you're going to invest time in getting confidence in one area of your life, first, stop thinking about confidence and just try to get really good at something, and naturally the confidence will follow. I mean, there's a thing called sociometer theory, which is basically inside us we have this kind of barometer, right? So if like the last 10 interpersonal relationships that they're going pretty well, right? Then we feel pretty good about ourselves. But like if Katie stabbed me and
Oh God!
And then Kevin said I had a huge nose, and then someone punched me in the dick. Then I'm gonna be feeling pretty bad about myself, right? And for good reason. Why are people stabbing you? Why are people punching you in the dick? And why is Kevin saying?
Yeah, if you've ever been stabbed before, it's definitely your fault. Yeah. It's definitely your fault.
No,
what the fuck were you doing wrong that caused another person to mutilate?
I know, dude. It's just Katie every week. She just stabs me, and I can't. I don't know if I can be friends with her. No, and the thing is, then your sociometer will go down, right? You'll feel bad about your performance, and this is a good thing. It's a signal that says, hey, don't try to rationalize, oh, just be yourself. No. Improve in those areas of your life. That's what it's saying to you. It's a signal. It's a tornado siren, dude, that's telling you, hey, you need to listen to this bad feeling, because holding a bad feeling is uncomfortable, right? But having the tenacity to do that, to hold those bad feelings and improve, if you improve in that domain, those feelings will probably go away because you're good.
Or you have a bad feeling. You keep it locked real deep inside you, and you push it further down with drugs and alcohol, and you just let it fester there and grow. And hope that it goes away eventually. That's also a very healthy way.
That's our next podcast: how to push away feelings into the black hole of your soul. Yeah,
how to ignore all your emotions.
Yeah, dude. I think this kind of feeds in nicely to the next point. Is that fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
So you can't fake the last 5 interpersonal relationships that felt good, right? Oh no, Katie. She stabs everyone, man. She's totally.
She's just
no. The thing is, minor positive illusions, very minor ones, everyone has them, right? And technically, having very, very small positive illusions are good for you, right? So fake it till you make it, dude, right? You can't fake the last 5 interpersonal relationships, and you can't. The opposite. It's not living in illusions. It's not it's not being bad at something and then telling yourself, "Oh, no, dude, I'm pretty good, dude." No, it's not that.
What? No.
It's facing with those uncomfortable feelings, like, "Oh, I suck monster cock," and it's then improving.
I'll just say that you're totally right. I think building confidence is a long-term investment, and it should be viewed as a long-term investment. Fake it till you make it is this thing that everybody says, like it's kind of like their bullshit trick to be confident or whatever. Fake it till you make it, just deal with it. And I think there's a lot of truth to it, because that's what I had to do. Is like I didn't really know. I didn't read a book on how to build confidence. I kind of just had to figure it out. And what I did was I literally faked it as if I was like my dad. My dad was like my basis for what I thought was confidence, because he just comes off as a very confident person. When he talks, he can engage in social situations, no problem. And I tried to emulate that when I was kind of like a high schooler. And it worked. It worked in getting me to actually socialize, and it was a temporary thing. It didn't like increase my inner confidence at my core and make me feel great about myself, but it was the means of, I guess, it was a good way to start for me. It was a good way to start because I emulated confident behavior that I thought came off as confident, and then later my actual inner confidence followed that. So it's not like the strategy I would prescribe to anybody to building your confidence, but fake it till you make it, I think, has some utility.
So it doesn't work, but it also works, right? So that was my caveat that I was going to say. So the thing about fake it till you make it is that, imagine confidence. There's both short-term and long-term confidence, right? In the next 6 seconds, someone could tell me, "Mohnish, you just won $1 million. I'm going to feel so confident. I'm going to feel great about everything," right? That is short-term confidence. Long-term confidence is how do you do in that domain over a long period of time, right? So short term.
Mohnish, you just won $1 million. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel.
Yeah. So long term wise, fake it till you make it doesn't work. But in the short term, this is the key, right? So say you fake it till you make it, right? And then, because this fake it till you make it, you think of Ben Affleck, you think of yourself in a suit and tie, and you just imagine that you are, a fucking lion or some shit like that. Like you have a.
I am a majestic lion.
And you have like a spirit animal poster on your wall. And you go out and then you say things, right, to people, as people do, and people respond positively, right? Mm-hmm. Your brain is encoding that positive feedback into your head, right? If you do that over a repeated basis, so you just go out and you talk to people and people are smiling, they're giving you positive affirmation that what you're saying is not that of a crazy person or of a paranoid schizophrenic, then you're going to encode in yourself, your brain is literally going to say, you have a license to be confident in this area because you're competent, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously, if you've noticed, the competence comes first every single time, regardless of whether you use short-term or long-term. But the better strategy is to focus on the actual skill of talking to people. Don't worry about you don't need to worry about the confidence. I mean, it makes you feel good, right? You want to worry about it because you want to feel great in social situations, but focus on the skills and then the confidence will come. And if you focus on the skill set, the actual skill set of talking to people, you'll get a rock solid confidence that does not waver because there's confidence. Everyone's been the person that has confidence, and it wavers back and forth. It depends so much on so many variables. But some people have had thousands of conversations with people. they've had thousands of times when people have put them under the rug. I don't know what the fuck that meant, but they've had thousands of conversations when people have said mean things to them and they've handled it properly, and they've gone through so many social situations that they know they can do it again, like regardless of whether it's good and bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's funny. It really is about building competence through repeated exposure, through constantly putting yourself into situations that you don't have a high confidence level in, so that you can learn to adapt to them and get better at them. And that's across all domains. Obviously, with talking to people, like for myself, I always like to tell this story because if anybody's struggling with this, it's a fantastic way of building social confidence. Is like I legitimately could barely make eye contact with people and struggled massively connecting with human beings because I was just bad at socializing. I didn't know how to talk for extended periods of time. I couldn't socialize with people. And I felt really shitty about it until eventually I realized, like, okay, because I would always think like, oh, I'm just introverted. Like I was just born this way and I had to kind of just figure it out. There's something else that I'm good at. I'll just never be good at talking to other people, which is bullshit because it's a skill you can build. So what I did was I would always focus on, or I would always build my social ability by talking to like cashiers and waiters and stuff. And I say this all the time. I just think it's incredible because they have to talk to you. That's their job. Their job is to be a positive representation of whatever company they're working for and interacting with you.
They have to give you positive feedback. It's guaranteed positive feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I mean, they might be just a boring person and like not be conversational, but they want to talk to people too. Their jobs are boring as fuck. The only reason they get through their jobs is because they get to talk to other people. And if you can just like, hey, how's it going? And like just casually engage in conversation with people like that over time, I think that kind of transferred into talking to other people who perhaps weren't getting paid to actually talk to them.
Yeah. The key part is that you're practicing this, right? You are going out of your way to practice, not just in your room, not just like tell yourself, I'm a majestical lion and I'm going to talk to everyone. No, it's actually going out of your way to practice, right? So like for me, right, I had this speech and you get to do it twice if you bomb, and you have to do it right the first time. I practiced by myself in my own room, and then when I did it in front of people, I completely choked. Like the thing was that I did the speech over and over and over again by myself in my own room, and then I did it.
Hey everybody, my name is Mohnish.
Yeah, and I practiced in my own room, and when I went there, I choked so hard. I mean, I just blanked, right? And this is your worst nightmare, basically, right? When you just go up there, you're ready, and then you just bomb the speech. So what I did was I was weird because I was learning in social cognition this choking, right? When you choke, what is the psychology of choking, right? And not like physical choking, but like, you know, like you like LeBron James can't make any shots in the fourth quarter kind of choking. And one of the key principles was that I did not try to replicate slowly and build up to the environment that I was actually going to be performing in, right? So I was literally practicing my speech in a black box, and it was with no people, right? Because when I replicated that same speech in front of people, there was another added element of the pressure of people around you. And again, we're an ultra social species. We are very in tune, and we care a lot about what people think about us, right? So it was completely natural, but with that additional pressure and that additional variable, completely choked, right? I was not able to perform because my brain could not handle the pressure of what was going on, right? So what I did was I would practice in front of people, right? I tried to do it again. I said, yo, hey, Tom, can I practice my speech in front of you? And he said, yeah. Then I got a group of 3 people to go. And then I kept on gradually going up, and I finally did it in front of the all of the people, and I did not choke. I actually nailed the speech, right? Because by then I had conditioned myself to slowly raise the stakes, right? And that is the big the big key lesson, right? If talking to guys or talking to girls is very like talking to new people is very scary for you, just start with the lowest stakes possible, and then gradually raise the stakes as your competence increases, right? So talk to grandma, assuming you love your grandma and grandma isn't like, she doesn't, I don't know, stab you like fucking Katie, okay?
Or like, hey grandma, how's it going? And then she goes, why you not doctor yet?
I just imagine like a terrible grandma like, hey grandma, how's it going? Fuck you! And then the guy never talks again. Talk to your grandmother. And then when you're done talking to your grandmother, talk to just friends that you know, right? Just converse with them. Just start practicing these skills, and then
if you don't have any friends, well, just make some.
Make that a thing on the to-do list. Then talk to cashiers, right? Like just like you said, right?
That's
right.
The key.
And you know what? Screw all of this. Everything. Just talk to cashiers. Make their day. And then progress higher and higher, because meeting new people is actually kind of hard, and just going up to someone and starting conversation, because you need to, with the additional pressure, with the additional polarized pressure of they could totally be like, get the fuck away from my face, or it's pleasant that I like talking to you. With that additional pressure, being competent is really going to kick in, right? And there's been a lot of times, especially even on this podcast, where I won't feel confident, but because, for what I understand, me and Kevin are both somewhat competent in our actual podcasting, we do a good job even though we don't feel confident. Like, Kevin, okay, you won't believe this, but Kevin, there's been so many times when he's straight up been like, Mohnish, I felt so bad. I was like not confident. I probably didn't do well.
That's because I always feel bad about everything in my life.
Yeah, dude, and then we'll listen back to the tape, and he'll be completely fine. And in fact, it might have been one of his best performances ever. So
the last podcast we recorded was the only podcast ever that I thought I did. So I listened to it, and like I actually don't even remember if I thought I did bad or not. But when I listened back to the audio when we were like in an editing phase, I was like, oh wow. I don't sound too terrible in this. That's dude. Awesome. Typically, every single time we record, my first thoughts after are like, God, I sounded awful. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah, and dude, it's just, again, confidence is ephemeral, but competence can really triumph and help you get to where you want to go, right? CEOs, like Steve Jobs, everyone attributes, CEOs are great because of their confidence. Dude, their confidence, Joni Ive didn't design a great product, didn't design the iPhone because he was confident, right? There's so many confident motherfuckers that are trying to do shit, and they're not able to do it because they're not good at what they're. Everyone's met the overconfident but actually incompetent person, right? And you'll get that especially if like a super arrogant, confident person is actually incompetent, but he has a ton of yes men around him. Right? If you've seen Popstar, Popstar, basically, there's a ton of yes men, and he's extremely confident in who he is. He's like, man, the day I was born, I knew I was dope. Like that was sort of his opening line.
He makes like a basketball shot, turns around thinking he's gonna make it. He misses, but everybody still goes, yeah.
And that's the thing. Being competent is going to get you to where you want to go. And the real magic happens when you are competent in multiple domains of your life. And you'll see this especially in older people who are like 40 or 50 who have their shit together. And they're good at a ton of things. Yeah. And they have this sort of meta confidence where generally in their mind they know, whatever I'm going to do, I know how to get good at things, and I'll probably get confident. So I have this meta confidence that sort of they carry with them. It's sort of the James.
I probably won't call.
And they because that's what people worry about. I'm just
my number one concern at all times is this gonna explode? Shit.
And this it's sort of this James Bond confidence, right? Where they're just very self-assured about pretty much everything, and even if they're bad at something, they know. If I put in the time, I can get good at it, right? And which is where the real magic happens and where you feel like you have these balls of gold, right? The big one that I think no one talks about, and this is huge, and I've only really seen this anecdotally in my life, and actually, really, people don't talk about this, is your group of friends. Dude, like, in the beginning, I sort of teased this. I'm like, I don't know why sometimes I'd be very confident, and other times I would be not so confident. It was because the times that I had rock solid confidence for extended periods of times, those were the times that I had a solid group of friends who I did not doubt in their fidelity, right? Like it wasn't like, oh yeah, like me and Chad, like we play football, like if I told him I was like gay, like he would not like me at all. So I'm not gonna tell him that, but like I'm gonna keep it a secret, dude. No,
yeah, dude. We chill all the time, like we smoke bud and don't talk about things.
Yeah, like if you knew the real me, dude, like he would probably call me like an idiot, but like, dude, it's totally cool. No, those are the high school conditional relationships, right? And it's these when you have conditional relationships around you, people who, you know, if you chose a different life path, they probably wouldn't be friends with you if you didn't have X amount of cool points in the cool scale. They wouldn't. If you had these conditional relationships, you're probably going to be very dependent on what other people think of you. And this is flipping the coin, right? I mean, on one end, you need to have a close group of friends that are unconditional, right? Like Kevin, like as much as we joke about how much we hate each other on the podcast, I know.
No, I really do dislike you. Like I have a deep resentment.
As much as we joke about it on the podcast, like if I chose a different life path, right? If I wanted to do something else, if I wanted to be, I don't know if I want to be a prostitute, if I wanted to, I don't know.
I'm thinking about it.
No, if I wanted to do that, we would still keep in touch, right? I have friends in my life that if they have completely different lives than me. They have almost completely different values sometimes than I do. When it comes to the work they do and their career path and what they want to do with their lives. But it's not conditional on those things. Those factors our friendships don't hinge on these variables. Our friendship hinges on our friendship, right? When you have friendships that are unconditional, you have a good group of friends, close interpersonal relationships, dude, especially if you have a partner, right? You just have someone by your side that just kind of likes you all the time, which is crazy. You're going to be more confident in who you are as a human being. You're going to have more self-esteem just because there is literally a person that is there for you, right?
Having meaningful relationships with other human beings just in general increases your sense of self-worth. You know, when your relationships with other people you feel are fulfilling and they're not conditional, like high school bullshit relationships, then you feel as if you feel just, I guess, as a better person as a whole, thus making you more confident, generally speaking, because you have these close friends who can always validate your feelings and emotions and who are always there to support you. So it's a fantastic utility.
Yeah, dude. And the time, dude, the time that I was talking about earlier in the podcast, there was a time when I felt like in some contexts I would feel confident, in other contexts I would feel confident. When I was sort of friends with everybody, but friends with nobody at the same time, when I did not have a close-knit, close interpersonal relationships that I could bank on, that was the time when I needed I sort of lived and died off of other people's approval. And if someone said something slightly mean, if someone said a joke, they were giving me shit, but they were just, they're just talking to me like, it wasn't a big deal. I would take it as a big deal because I didn't have those interpersonal relationships. Part of having a close group of friends is that when other people don't accept you, you can say fuck you to those people because you got 5 people. Yeah.
Literally. Like if they don't want to hang out with you, you can like punch them in the cock directly and tell them to go fuck themselves. And like any reasonable, normal human being would do.
Oh, absolutely. And dude, it's crazy because I feel like no one talks about this, right? No one really, everyone's always talking about affirmations, visualization, emotional boosters, telling yourself, hey, Dad didn't leave me because I sucked. Like it's not your fault. It's not your fault, Matt Damon.
It's not your fault.
You just start crying, dude. Any last thoughts?
I think just recognize that building confidence is a long-term investment. The fake it till you make it attitude has some utility in it, but it's never going to solve your problems. If confidence is one of them, faking it till you make it, it's like you're not going to actually make it through faking it. It's through other things that are going to cause you to actually make it. And yeah, just don't be Mohnish.
Yeah. Fuck you, Kevin. This is my goddamn podcast. I'm going to kick you off right now. No, dude, don't stab people. Don't... You know what? Let's just make it a public service announcement. Don't be Jamie, and don't stab people.
No, it's Katie. Katie's the girl. She's always stabbing everybody. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that about Katie.
I have two...
Butterfly knives.
She has throwing stars.
She's got all kinds throwing stars. Yeah, sure.
Actually, Jamie's a ninja, and I don't know why we're friends with her or Katie.
Yeah. She's a paid assassin that we hang out with. She's very cool personality when she's not.
She gets really vulnerable about being a ninja. She's like, to be honest, Mohnish, like it kind of sucks having to assassinate seven Yakuza members, but like it's I don't know. And then I'm like, dude, I just don't know if I could do it anymore.
Look,
Katie, I've never had to like assassinate Japanese mob members, but dude, I totally get it. I totally understand.
I'm glad that we're being vulnerable with each other, Katie.
All right, we're good to go. Yo, so there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the show on confidence. We had a fun time recording it. Check out realtalkstudio.com/insider. That's our email list where you can get all the nutty stuff like updates, bonus content, and actually get your questions answered on the podcast. Plus, you'll get a free digital copy of all the episode breakdowns from season 1. And again, sign up. You'll love it. We'll love you. And it'll be one big love circle. We'll be singing Kumbaya. It'll be all that good stuff. Special thanks to my wonderful crew, production team, and everyone who helped make this happen. Kevin Sanji, Army Leg, Justine Brum, Vishali Sundarajan, and Electric Mantis. This is Real Talk, signing off.